And commuters have clashed with Extinction Rebellion protesters who were trying to stop tube trains running in London this morning. One activist was dragged from the roof of a train and pulled to the ground, where passengers surrounded him and shouted at him. 8 people have been arrested, as Richard Lister reports.
We're here at Canning Town Station.
Canning Town Station at 6:30 this morning, and these protesters were about to push the patience of London commuters to the limit. Some were hostile almost immediately.
How long you stand up there for? We've got to go to work.
But over the next 20 minutes, the anger grew and station staff were overwhelmed as some on the platform took matters into their own hands. Some lashed out at the protesters, others tried to protect them. The one remaining demonstrator was chased down and pushed off. An Extinction Rebellion journalist was attacked.
About 20 Londoners beat me down, and I was there for several moments being in fetal position, being kicked. Luckily, 3 Londoners came over and got on top of me and protected me, and I'm very grateful to those individuals that did that.
It took almost an hour before a normal service was resumed here at Canning Town. The Extinction Rebellion organisers are unrepentant, saying they will continue their protests to force the government to take notice of what they call this climate emergency. Trains were also targeted at Stratford and here in Shadwell, where patience was also in short supply.
You're not doing any good for your own cause.
It's very selfish. My children are on the train. They're going to be stuck on the train. One who's got a medical condition. She couldn't care.
I wonder what people think that civilisational collapse looks and feels like, because I don't think that it's going to be a calm situation for people to live through, and that's clearly what we're facing.
Right, guys, can we leave the station, please?
Police say they'll deal robustly with those arrested, but have also condemned the violence at Canning Town. 11 days into a 2-week protest, Extinction Rebellion says it will continue. Richard Lister, BBC News.
The Mayor has condemned the Extinction Rebellion protests at 3 East London stations this morning. Activists glued themselves to a DLR train at Shadwell and scuffles broke out at Canning Town after one man was pulled from the top of a carriage. Sadiq Khan described the activities as illegal and extremely dangerous, and he said it was causing unacceptable disruption to Londoners. Well, let's get more from our political editor, Tim Donovan. Tim.
Yeah, Vic, it didn't take long for City Hall to respond to this trouble on the transport network this morning. It was like officials were poised on Twitter to give his reaction, and he repeated it and outlined it at a session before Assembly members here at City Hall this morning.
This illegal action is extremely dangerous, counterproductive, and is causing unacceptable disruption to Londoners and visitors who use public transport to get to work. It's also a massive burden on our already overstretched police officers. I urge demonstrators to protest peacefully and within the boundaries of the law.
He has this difficulty, Vic, when he decides what stance to take. Earlier in the week, he was blindsided by the police when they decided to move in, declare the protests were at an end. The Commissioner didn't appear to have told him beforehand, and he's coming under pressure to defend, speak up for the protesters' human rights and so on. And we know there's this court case going on this afternoon. But on the other hand, the Conservatives here at City Hall are taking him to task and saying he's not been nearly clear enough in supporting the police and how they go about this.
£16 million at the absolute minimum has been wasted so far on Extinction Rebellion. The same amount was lost in April this year. And yet you don't come down hard enough and say, I support the police, I support Londoners. There's enough of this nonsense. You should be doing that, Mr. Mayor. Are you not concerned about the amount of money that is being wasted on this?
So you can see the kind of tricky political path he has to find for himself. It wasn't very long ago when Extinction Rebellion had their previous protests that he said he kind of supported some of their principles, what they were fighting for, climate change and so on. Indeed, he had a group of them in to talk to him at City Hall. But when things start to turn nasty, and when we saw scenes like we did in East London this morning, you see the difficulty for him, because it looks as if he might well be condoning or encouraging a kind of situation where that kind of disruption has happened.
OK, Tim, thanks very much.